Welcome, everybody, to the MORE Listings Mastermind, your real estate podcast. My name is Robert Weicheld. I'll be your host today. We're a weekly mastermind. We meet every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Join us live via Zoom right here, morenowlistings.com. That's morenowlistings.com. Just click the link and you will be let in. We're here for power, growth, and momentum. That's what our whole goal is. And it all starts with the MORE Listings Mastermind. So let's go ahead and get started with the program. In the news, I always like to start off in the news because this business that we're in, we need to be paying attention to what's happening. Whether the market's up, down, all around, the rates went down today, the foreclosure market's starting to peak its head. What's going on? This call today will be about the distressed property market and the tools that you need to just really do an amazing amount of work. So it's, I'll tell you what, we're averaging between 385 active listings at a time the last time around. So it's a business, I'm telling you. So I always like to start with this disclosure when I talk about REO. I do not wish on anyone that they lose their home. Never, ever, ever, ever. I want everyone to keep their home. And in the event they cannot, I want them to know I'm a resource for them. I come from contribution. I'm here to help them keep their home. In the event they cannot, I want to be the resource. I want them to call me and let's walk them through the next steps. I don't want to see them go back to the bank. However, there's a lot of folks that kind of bury their head in the sand. And the next thing they get this notice saying this home is no longer yours. And then the corporate seller, which I really love working with, and I've been working with the corporate seller since the late 80s. So it's a great, I love working with the corporate seller. Here's in the news. Foreclosures keep rising nationwide as market normalizes. So here's the thing. We need to know this when we're talking to our sellers. We're taking a listing, a traditional listing. We need to have conversations with our sellers. Because listen to this. Foreclosure filings in November were down 3%. Sure. But they're up 21% from a year ago. Year over year, that's 21% up. We need to pay attention to what's going on. Adam dropped this information, and we'll put that in the chat box. Adam is the curator of land, property data, and real estate analytics. These are the folks that you want to follow. So there's we'll put the chat in the link in the chat. There was 35,651 U.S. properties with foreclosure filings. Now, not everybody's going to go back to the bank. Some people are going to reach out to an agent and say, you know what, I'm in some issues. I need to get this squared away. Some will solve their issues with the bank and get it caught up, whatever. But there's always an agent that gets involved, whether you're giving them a valuation of the property. They're going to call you and say, hey, listen, I need to know what this property is in the event it goes back to the bank. So we'll dive into that here in a little bit. So pay attention of what's going on in not only the traditional market, but the default market. That's a big market to pay attention to. I always like to get started with our classes, our workshops, our masterminds, our podcasts, with my partner and my special guest, because this can help the agents that are listening to this program. Tim Yates, founder of My Legacy Link, is going to talk to you about how using estate planning to help you win more listings. So Tim, take it away. Give them a quick shout out. Who are you, Tim Yates?
Robert, it's a pleasure to be here, my friend. Again, my name is Tim Yates, and I founded an estate planning firm. Actually, we're definitely more of a technology firm now, about a decade ago, with my wife, Carrie, who is our firm's lead attorney, and she's absolutely amazing. And, we set out to really disrupt the estate planning industry in a different way, and that's working closely with real estate professionals. Real estate professionals have a seat at the table. And when you look at the numbers, and I know, Robert, you and I talk a lot about the numbers tell a story, and they're not lying, that roughly 87.3% of California homeowners do not have their homes or investment properties in a trust. Think about that number, 87.3. So that equates to roughly 9 out of 10 people in your database do not have a living trust. And really the reasons behind that, for me, having done this for a long time now, it's two things. It's just lack of understanding and education. And then the second thing is affordability. So homeowners are desperate for affordable solutions to protect their assets, especially their homes. And so we've created, again, with you, Robert, working on a wonderful system a system that encompasses the ability for agents to do what they need to do, and that's get more listings. And by helping our agents get more listings, it in turn helps us get more trusts. And so it's a perfect relationship. And we call this system the legacy listing system. And it just doesn't encompass estate planning, but that's really our bread and butter. It also encompasses family law, bankruptcy, creating small businesses, LLC, corporate entities, helping with deeds and basically quitclaim deeds and other things like that. So it's an all-in-one system that really helps agents build stronger, deeper, more relationships with their database, and it helps us as well.
Amen, brother. And I think it's important that the agents on the call realize, number one, the big thing I took away was 9 out of 10 don't have a living trust. That's a big number. Can you imagine reaching out to your database and 9 of the 10 you speak to about a living trust you can have a conversation with? Those are big numbers. We need to follow up with our database. Our circle influence relies on that. So that's why we talk about the great things that Tim's doing with My Legacy Link. We meet every Tuesday, Tim, at 12 o'clock Pacific, and we go over just that, how to help agents reach out to their database with your certain tools. I'll have Carta drop that link in the chat box, or Tim, if you could, whatever works, and drop that information in the chat box. We can you get these people dialed in. And here's a call to action for the agents that are attending right now before we get on to our presentation today. There's the QR code. We'll put it, if you're listening to it on Spotify or on our YouTube channel, we'll have it in the remarks. But I'm telling you what, jump on this. This is a great tool for agents to be that resource. And I'm digging it. So Tim, any closing remarks before we get moving?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, when we talk about affordability. I mean, the biggest challenge people have is that price tag. Most revocable living trust packages in California start at about $2,500 and up. So we wanted to take affordability out of the equation. So when our agents are referring clients to us, we're not going to turn around and charge them thousands of dollars. And in most cases, we're going to charge less than $1,000. And we want that to reflect directly on our agent's relationship, and let them know it's not just about pointing that person in the right direction. It's actually helping them in the pocketbook. And it just creates a win-win for everybody.
I love it. Tim, as always, you are amazing. I appreciate you, brother. Agents, pay attention to this. Sign up for this. And Tim, just real quick so they know what they're getting into. What does it cost to sign up for this?
It's free.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So
we're not selling them anything. We're not selling them anything. We're showing them some proven systems. We got amazing scripts, things that just truly work. So it's just a win-win for everybody.
Amen, brother. That's what I love. I love it. So with that said, what I love is our guest is going to be, it's amazing. This is going to be so much fun. If you've ever heard the quote, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's what training is all about. REO, BPO, default. That default space is a very specialized arena. And if you learn how to do it properly, you'll eat for a lifetime. I assure you that. And that's kind of the whole goal for today's class. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of share who I am. I've been in the real estate industry since 1986. For those of you keeping score at home, that'll be 40 years, February 14th of next year. It's a long time. And I only tell you that, not to say, yeah, I'm old, but the fact that I've seen a few things and I'd like to share them with you. I bring on guests that have a lot of the same experience. So I want to make sure that we're coming from contribution. That's what this call is about. I remember doing BPOs during the glue stick era. And hear me out. We would go inspect a property. We'd run over to the property, take a bunch of photos, run to the 1-hour photo, sit there impatiently, I tell you, and we're waiting for those photos. We got them done. And sometimes we'd get become friendly with the person doing the photos, and they'd get them to us really quick and but anyway, I digress. We would run to the office. We'd get out our typewriter. We would pull out the legal size paper and we'd start typing our BPO. And then we would glue stick our photos, bam, to the legal size paper. The BPOs were like, oh my God, this thick. We'd finish them all and run down to FedEx barely meet the last cutoff, and we do it again the next day. The best part of doing BPOs is you learn how to master valuating properties. And that's the number one ticket when you're a professional realtor. I was approved with over 44 banks and REO companies, so I come with some experience. I scored 1% with Freddie Mac. Let me give you the guideline. 1% means great, 10% means you're fired. I always scored at a 1%. Everything you do, whether it's REO related or BPO related, providing a valuation for a seller, you're being graded on it. So make sure you follow that. And I'm just telling you, we're going to have some really good stuff to share. Now, I'm going to share the 6 steps to REO success. Obviously, have an REO resume. Get that resume out to the different portals, Equator, ResNet, Pyramid. There's lots of them. We're going to specifically focus today on completing a rockstar BPO, using those BPOs to get listings, leverage those BPOs to get listings, multiple listings. But I can tell you this, if you do it right, it could be an amazing income stream. If you do them wrong, you may need to look for another, you need to learn how to do them. Because everything you're doing is great on. This could be a great business. And once you get the BPOs down, the broker price opinion down, pulling your actives, pulling your solds, doing the description, adding the adjustments, learning how to do that. Once you do it, you can do it in your sleep. It just takes time. You need to have the proper training. And that's our goal today. We'll go over opening the assignment, the cradle to grave, many moving parts, going after cash or keys, and how important it is for property preservation. But today, we're focused on the BPO. Who's the REO agent or the BPO agent in this case? A lot of the banks that you go sign up for, we're going to automatically have a disclosure that says we need 5 years experience, 3 years of REO experience. Newsflash, the REO market in any kind of consistency left us back in 2009-10. There were some stragglers and short sales. So most agents have not seen an REO or a BPO for that matter. So I personally sign up anyway because you're going to get the BPO training that you need. It gives you that REO experience. It may not be REO listing experience, but when you understand how to do a BPO, that's the number one thing asset managers look for, that you can evaluate the property. All the other stuff can be learned. You really need to be a great resource when it comes to providing value. So I bring this up because a lot of people get discouraged. Oh, I don't have 5 years, 3 years of REO experience. Never mind. Sign up anyway. That's my point. Another one thing I want to say, there's a lot of training opportunities. Make sure you pick the right ones. And today I'm going to introduce you to, in my opinion, the best way to go about doing the BPO as a business. Okay. So I always like to start off, and I ask the guest out. We always share our REO stories. REO is a different animal. This one comes from, it was a Freddie Mac listing. And I drove up, if anyone's ever been San Diego, Dictionary Hill in Spring Valley, it's hard to walk up the hill, let alone drive your car up. So I parked my car down the hill, walked up, and I came to the very top. The house is on the left, and there's a bigger lot that's attached to the home. And there's this bus. I had a hard time walking up. I'm curious on how they got the bus up there. But here's the good news. That doesn't matter. The bus is there. We need to figure out a way to get it out of there. I called towing companies. I exhausted every option. I finally got with my contractor because I have an idea. Let's cut it up in bite-sized pieces with our Sawzall. We'll put it on a trailer and we'll cart it down in pieces. We had to think outside the bus. We needed to provide a solution for our seller, not a, hey, seller, we have a problem. What do you want to do? Hey, seller, we have a problem. Here are some options. Because we get those options, we're creating the answer for the problem in advance. Now, if it's catastrophic, we need to let that asset manager know right away and tell them what we're doing. But we need to have solutions to the problem. And that's what we did. We cut it up. We have to get the approval first. We don't just cut it up and get it out of there and build the bank. But that's a whole nother conversation. With that said, you need to think outside the bus. You need to, if you're listening to this, need to realize there's lots of opportunities in the default space. REO listings create a generous commission. They close in usually 30 days or less, but here's the best part about the REO space. Every listing has to close. This isn't a seller saying, I think I'm going to take my home off the market, maybe try it again next year. That's not happening. They need it gone, but they want the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. That's what every seller wants, right? You become the market expert. You get a lot of signs in the neighborhood. You're going to get not only traditional leads, you're going to get default sellers. You're going to know how to speak to these folks. And of course, asset managers, to do a great job for them, they're going to continually not only send you business, but share your name with their asset manager friends. That's how it works. Double ending closings, we'll go into that in another conversation, but it's when you got all those signs, they're coming to you. Oftentimes you get a sign in the yard before the home's available on the market. You're building up your VIP list. Are we following? But today we're going to talk about BPO, broker price opinion. You can make between 50 and 75 bucks, sometimes more. Now, if you're doing commercial BPOs, that's a whole different animal. You can make more, even more on that. 50 to 75 bucks. Not a lot of money. You're certainly not going to turn in your retirement, but it's an opportunity to really generate some income. A lot of the agents during the last market, I had BPO agents. That's all they did. They were appraisers that were doing BPOs, and they were doing awesome amount of work because it's volume. You're out there banging it out, taking the photos, doing the data, submitting the BPO, repeat, boom. It's an awesome way it's a great resume for your bank. You do a great BPO, that bank's going to go, I'm using this guy. He knows what he's doing. However, there's also another list. You do a terrible job, you're not going to get any more opportunities. So tune up, tune in, and let's make it happen. But real quick before we get started with our program, and as you guessed it, today's program is about broker price opinions. They're assigned for notice of default, notice of trustee. We reach out to those folks on a daily basis. So there's conversations. They'll need a BPO sometimes when they're doing a short sale or even when the NOD is filed, or they even have a hint of a notice of default being filed. They want to get a valuation, and they'll get multiple valuations. Of course, short sales, PMI removal, of course, the REO assignment, but a backup, being a backup, like a backup quarterback. They'll send out somebody, say, can you give us a second opinion on this? And that's a BPO. Again, earn 50 to 75, depending if it's an exterior, interior, drive-by inspection, whatever. But bottom line, make your BPO shine. That is your reputation. This is what I can do for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, corporate seller. So with that said, I'm super excited to bring some fabulous folks. Now, remember, the MORE Listings Mastermind, we meet every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can go to morenowlistings.com. So with that said, our topic today, your uncensored BPO survival guide with special guests, Wendy Martin and Seth Russell, real estate brokers out of Washington and Oregon. And you guessed it, they want to teach you how to fish. And so with that said, Shane, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you take it away, my friend.
Sounds good. All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Wait, I think Seth's fish looks bigger than mine, and that's not fair.
I can certainly fix that.
Okay.
So Wendy, well, let's do this real quick. Wendy, you and I have had some great conversations in the past. We've seen each other at different 5-star Rio Mac, NADP, and we have a lot of the same colleagues in the REO space. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Let's open it up by telling everybody who's Wendy Martin. Give us an update.
When I find out, I'll let you know. Oh no, you want it now? Okay. You know what? Seth's my business partner. We've been doing uh REO, BPO short sales for the past 20 plus years. And we heard about BPOs just from some random like title company class we went to. We had no idea what they were. We had no idea how to do them. There was like one class way back then, and we kind of just made our way through it. And we decided, you know what? We heard about the crash when we were on vacation in Cyprus visiting my family. And we were like, should we come back or like open a nail salon? What do we do here? We're going to be poor. And we came back and we decided we're going to do BPOs. The REOs will come, but let's just try it. And actually, we were making 80 to 100 grand a year doing BPOs, saving our butts. And that brought some surprises, right? Because, well, I'm supposed to talk about who I am. Who I am is REO BPO short sales, and we teach all of it. We're accredited teachers in Oregon and Washington. We can get into the rest of the spiel later. But Seth Russell, I want to introduce to you, my longtime partner in the biz. Go for it.
Much like Wendy described, we came to a hard point in 2008. Everybody saw what happened in the market. Agents were fleeing like rats sinking on a sinking ship. We chose to take a different route. Much like Wendy described, we've got over 20 years experience, started out traditional real estate. The crash hit, we had to pivot. And that's exactly why we are still standing today when a lot of agents folded in the cards. What Rob was mentioning earlier is spot on. Our job in this situation is to make sure that you're given the tools so that you can learn to pivot yourself. And it gives you some freedom to use your experience, but also to open doors that may not otherwise be available. So the BPO course, we hope you'll find, is very informative with practical experience.
I love it. I love it. We are heading in there. So, Wendy, did you want to introduce yourself, Shane, or are you just behind the scenes?
I do.
Yeah.
Shane's our guy. Go for it,
He
Shane.
is the guy.
Yeah,
Shane is the guy. That's why I was bringing it up.
Thanks. I'll make it brief. So my name's Shane. It's nice to meet you guys. So I've been working with Wendy and Seth for quite a few years now, and I've helped them build out this course. I'm kind of the tech and digital marketing guy, just kind of behind the scenes, but I'm basically here to help anybody if they have tech issues, and I'm your guy. So that's why I'm here.
I love it. I tell you what, you're going to get used to hearing from me because I'm not as techy as I'd like to be. So, Shane, thanks for being on. Seth, thanks for the introduction. So, Wendy, why don't you go ahead and take it away? Give the folks a little bit of update what we're doing here.
And Rob, two things. One, you can borrow Shane. And
Cool.
two, when you were talking about people who didn't have REO experience, something that really helped us in the beginning was we were in a brokerage where nobody did REO or short sales or BPOs, a very traditional brokerage before coming to EXP. And we didn't have experience, but we were thinking, okay, we'll use the REO experience of our entire brokerage. Maybe there were only 4 or 5 or whatever, but we then said, yes, we've sold REO because our brokerage did. So it's kind of a little, skewed, but that's the way we got our foot in the door. Because if you say, well, I've never done anything, period, please hire me, you're kind of in a spot, right? So we learned BPOs so we could be REO brokers and so we could survive after the last crash. And we saw so many agents, probably half in our Portland, Oregon market leave because they just couldn't afford to be brokers anymore. And guess what? We're right back there because the average agent in the past 12 months closed 0 to 1 transactions. So you're either going to hope you have a husband or wife who's really, really rich, or you're going to pivot and do something else. So that's why when we started, we had a tiny little class to show us, but there really isn't anything out there that teaches BPO step by step, start to finish, how to do it, how to present it, and how to navigate it so you can bring that skill to get REO listings. So that's why we're here. We're truly here to help people learn this, and we're not here for a money grab. We know what it's like to be poor, and we're grateful that we have something to offer to help other people in that way. I want to mention too that, BPO has other value in that we found that when we started to do them, especially interior BPOs, we found people in trouble, and that's when we could talk to them about short sales. So that was a really positive. We closed hundreds of short sales, negotiated them ourselves. Another positive outcome from doing BPOs. And the other one is, you'll get hundreds of BPO orders, and you won't take them all, but that is pre-REO information. It's gold. So many BPO orders will come in saying default or foreclosure. You jump on those, you go get them, help those people, do a short sale. Maybe they have equity and they don't have to be foreclosed on. So there are many sides to the upside for BPO. And like you said, Rob, you better know BPO if you're going to do REO, because if you can't come to a proper valuation, you're not going to work very long in that industry.
And
Um,
Wendy, one thing I want to mention, if you don't know how to do BPO, what's the seller going to think? So people know how to do it. They overthink it. It's the same thing as the CMA, just a little bit more aggressive. That's it. It's not a full appraisal. It's not just a CMA. It's right in the middle. But the better you are evaluating properties, the better agent you're going to be regardless of the market. So I digress. Go ahead.
No, it's true. And when we do HUD properties, or heck, when we meet appraisers, we hand them our BPOs and they know that we know, right? So maybe they're not going to pull that, oh, we'll just bump it by 100 grand, appraisers from like 80 miles away. So when you know your business, you know what to look for and what's going on, and the REO managers trust you. Mostly, not the hedge funds, but that's another story. And if you already know BPO, then you can join our affiliate program and help people who need this information to get it. So we have a lot of things going on. And I think, Seth, you can talk about what's in the course
Sure.
Next.
Much as Wendy was pointing out, we developed this BPO program over the course of the last couple of years. And we really wanted to make sure that everybody had what we consider to be a proven workflow of how to handle BPOs efficiently. And we show you steps on how to implement and elevate your BPO business beyond that. We provide what we consider to be real world insights, given the fact we've got over 2 decades worth of experience. And we also are gleaning a lot of information from other agents that we work with in the country, across the country. Much of what we're going to be talking about is also using your BPO specialist to help market yourself to these REO companies. So if you have the background, it's really, really pertinent that you know BPOs inside and out. And I think Rob alluded to this. The BPO is your credential. If you fail, then it's going to be hard to overcome that failure. So it's really, really very important that you master it. Not only do we provide tips on things that we know about the industry, we also provide links to over 50 companies that are BPO companies that you can sign up with. We actually go through the process with you about filling out the applications, including comments, and or if you have one, I think it's important, have a resume available. That's going to help you get noticed by these REO companies as well as the BPO companies that's the target. Excuse me. Next slide.
Hey, I'm going to throw something in, Seth. These BPO companies more than ever are changing all the time. They change their names, they change their portals, they charge portal fees. They're constantly changing. So if you end up joining us in our course, we update that all the time and have weekly Zooms, because this isn't just go learn this and see ya. This is, things are changing constantly, and we want to continue that training with you and helping each other. We all have things to learn. So go ahead, Seth.
Well, if we can go, there we go. We go through the various types of BPOs that you might want to consider avoiding, and there are a few out there. We also help you position yourself for market shifts, and I think we're getting ready for one very soon. Now is really the momentous time to pony up and start learning a new trade, if you will. And BPO companies that don't pay, we avoid them at all costs, or if they're late, we try and educate you on the companies that you do really want to work with and those that you want to avoid. We describe in detail the difference between property condition reports. We refer to them as PCRs. You can earn just as much money in that as you can doing a full-blown BPO, and it takes far less time. And then last but not least, we do give you a step-by-step guide from prep to completion, the entire process of getting in with the BPO companies, learning what's required of that specific BPO. It's all laid out for you.
I want to go into one type of BPO you must avoid because it happened to me. A company gave me an interior BPO. It was vacant, and I got there. It was dialed to the max in and out. And I got back and thought, they want an $80,000 loan. I called the point of contact that ordered it. Um, and I said, where do you want me to put that 80 grand? And he goes, wherever you want. And so I called the company that gave me the BPO and I said, where do you want me to put that 80 grand? There's nothing left to do to this house. And they said, wherever you want. And I said, I'm not going to. This is fraud. This reminded me of back in the day when all the appraisal stuff that went on before the last crash. So we're very careful about the retroactive or historical BPO. You can find yourself in hot water if you do those. And that company doesn't even call me anymore because they know I'm not going to play dirty. So this is the kind of stuff that we talk about, and maybe we'll get sued. I don't know, but bring it because we're telling the truth. We'll go to the next slide, Shane, before I go to jail.
Okay, before we go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, as you can see, we've got two packages. One referred to as the core, and it's the base model. We have a 25 module course where it's learn as you go at your own pace, digital training course. We have resources that you can use for streamlining your own processes. We provide bonus materials, and I think I also mentioned earlier that we also have a list that you can use to your benefit to make application to get you started in the BPO process with identifying the BPO companies that are most likely to need help. And then, of course, we also have the pro package. The clear distinction between that is really something that we need to drive home. It's $100 more. But in this case, you're getting our 1 hour private coaching session. So we review your client BPO and or sample BPO with you so that we can help you fine tune what we see in your BPO work. That's after completion. You'll take the course. We'll set up a 1 hour time session based on your schedule. We'll go through it with you. The other and probably really critical aspect of the pro package is we do offer our weekly Zoom calls. It's only for pro members. The objective is to get as many people as we can engaged in this so we have an open discussion of what's taking place in the BPO market today, what companies are now out of business or they've repackaged their company as a new company. And then, as Wendy was pointing out, there are some tricks of the trade that we need to all learn, and especially when you get what I consider to be problematic BPO requests where you're having to inflate your value based on what the clients wanted. There are things that we can bring to the table that you won't read in a book. And from that perspective, yes, the $100, that's not chump change, but it's well worth it because this is what I consider to be the biggest benefit of having the course and the package is the ongoing stuff that takes place within our group discussions. And as anybody has any questions about it, you can go ahead.
Actually, I do. If that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for bringing this to light, and we're going to get to your favorite REO story, each of you, in a minute. But I have a question. I'm not a question, more of an observation. People are thinking, "Oh my God, $200, $300, whatever." You do 6 BPOs at $50, that class is paid. You are now learning how to fish. So I like to point that out because there are some costs up front that you need to pay for. And we have a question in the chat box, so we'll cover that as well. There are things you'll need to pay for. Your education is the most important. You're learning something inside your business already. I see a lot of people on Facebook saying, I need a side hustle. I need something else. If you're going to get a side hustle, what a better way to do it. You're generating income by educating. You're getting paid to educate yourself by doing a BPO. You do 6 BPOs, that's paid for. I I like to go all in. I would strongly recommend the $399, the Pro package, because 8 BPOs is all it takes to get that one taken care of. And with the constant training and learning how to do this, you can create a really nice profit center for your profitable real estate brand, because that's what we're in, for profit. And it positions you to work with corporate sellers. I assure you this, no corporate seller will hire anyone on this call without a clear understanding of how to bang out a BPO, good, timely BPO. So I wanted to make sure that we knew the numbers going in, because that's a big deal. So go ahead and continue. This is great.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you
go
for
ahead,
that.
Wendy.
Sorry, Seth. That's a special price for you guys. And we're also working on, it's going to take a while, but we're working on autofill software. I'll have Shane explain it, but I want to make sure you understand that BPOs take time from the entry, right? And the entry of data. But as BPO agents, we are responsible for choosing the comps and writing our comments and choosing the final value, but everything else is data from your MLS. So it saves a ton of time if that can just be auto-populated. Something else we're working on, and we will partner with agents who can help us when they have a BPO come in so we can build our macros. But that takes a BPO down sometimes from 45 minutes to an hour to 20 minutes to 30 minutes, which is amazing. You can do way more. I've done 80 BPOs in a weekend when I had autofill before it went away 20 years ago. That's why we're trying to do it again. But Shane, you want to talk about now that I talked about it so long?
Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about it other than it is a work in progress, and we're hoping to get something rolled out soon. But anybody that joins our course, we're going to be running a pilot once we have this autofill system set up, and we're going to be inviting people to kind of help us create these automated macros for each BPO. So that's going to be something we'll roll out and let people know when it's ready, and there will be discounts for people on that. So yeah, it's definitely exciting because it is a big portion of what takes, it takes a lot of time when doing BPOs.
I think
Yeah.
that there's only one other thing that I'd add to this, and it's ties in with what you were talking about earlier, Rob, and it is building your inventory of prospects. And there isn't a BPO that Wendy and I have done that we haven't retained that information, because they are definitely warm prospects. If you've actually met with them, done an interior BPO, you have, a very good resource. Instead of paying for leads, which we all see, everybody's pitching, no, buy these leads. These are leads that you actually have that are coming directly from the lender and or their asset management company. But it's a hot lead, and it's something that I really tell everybody on the course. It's well beyond the scope to just making the 50, 75 bucks. It's a great opportunity to build your prospect list for, traditional listings, or as we used to do, we got a ton of short sale business out of it. So I encourage everybody to keep an open mind with not just this being a revenue stream, but it is an opportunity to build your prospect list.
I'm going to just say one thing about that real quick. When you have someone who's in trouble, not opening their mail, not answering their phone, they're going to be foreclosed on, and you walk in the door and listen to them, not send a postcard, not do any of that, they are so grateful, and you're really truly helping people. So it makes a big difference. It did in our business.
And Wendy, if I could just add something, it's my mother, brother, and I all in REO since the 90s. Like, that's when it really got rocking and rolling. Stay alive to 95. Remember those days? My mom went out and became a certified appraiser years ago, and she loves doing the BPOs. I know she's probably takes a special person to love BPOs.
Yeah.
But my point is, he's always calling me. Hey, Bobby, I just went to a house at 123 Main Street. Their default date is this, and give me the information. She's like, these people need help. They need you. And so my point is, to your point, Seth, there's a lot of folks that are needing help with the notice of default, the notice of trustee. Those folks are in some uncharted waters. They're not sure what to do. Most of them just don't do anything because they don't know what to do. And we want to be the resource for them. So when we're reaching out, I mean, sure, a lot of the BPO companies say they're not there to prospect that seller, but that's public record. That's public data. So it's just more of a heads up that you know that property. And I'm telling you what, the BPO companies, those are tomorrow's asset managers. Those are the ones you're building relationships with. Oh, I remember working with Wendy. She rocks. She does a great BPO. I cannot wait to work with her when I have assignments. So just another tip. If you want to position yourself in the REO space, I'm telling you what, this is the way to do it. You can certainly do them on your own. Absolutely. Take 2, 3, 4 hours and pull your hair out and just, I can't do this anymore. Or get a system that takes the BPO from an hour down to 20 minutes. Those are the tools. Once you get that mastered, this is an unstoppable complement to your current business. So, Wendy, what else do we want to tell the group that we haven't already done so?
You know what? I will just say that, like you said, it's a whole system, and the really important point is it's a jump off spot and it takes you so many other places. So we didn't want to make this unaffordable, and we want to work with you for as long as you like. So that doesn't come along very often, and I hope that people take advantage of it. We also, if you know BPO like the back of your hand, we have another program where you can help other people and make some money as well by being an affiliate for our program.
And Wendy, can you put that in the chat box that or Shane, I think you were going to do it, the promo code. There it is, Rob W. I know that guy. And if you can put the link in the chat so they can go right to that, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I just posted it in the chat for everybody as well.
Yeah, and we'll post that, Wendy and Seth and Shane. We'll post it on our YouTube channel in the remarks. We'll post it on our Spotify podcast in the remarks. And it's been fantastic chatting with you guys today. But I hope the folks that are listening to this, primarily agents, you do not have to be a broker to do this. You need to be licensed, but you do not need to be the broker. A lot of times people think, oh, I need to be a broker to do this. You do not. You need a real estate license hung with a broker, but you don't need to be a broker to do this. I know that's one of the misconstrued. And I tell you what, I guess my biggest thing that I could say is it complements what you're already doing. Your brain doesn't have to switch gears and go, oh, okay, I got to put on this hat today. You're in the same space, and it gives the momentum to get more listings. That's why it's on the MORE Listings Mastermind, because we're always looking for ways to get more listings, help more sellers. So super. So any last remarks, Wendy?
Yeah, my last remark is, look, it's coming. All the moratoriums, all the safety nets disappeared a couple months ago. By January, we expect to be inundated with BPOs and REOs. So it's a really good time to jump in.
I love it. And I tell you what, the biggest thing that we can look at is, what am I doing to further my business, further my growth? So I love it. I think that this is a great thing. Seth, anything any closing remarks you'd like to tell the audience?
I think that really is incumbent on everybody to think out of the box. And
yes, think outside the bus.
Yeah, outside the bus, brother. Exactly. And if you don't, and we've seen it, the people that didn't back when we started, they're no longer in the business. And I think that if you have, innovative way of doing things, we hope that this is going to be one of those things that you're going to take a look at. It has certainly proved beneficial for our business. And really, Wendy and I think we're in agreement. We really want to make sure that everybody has the same exposure to what we had, what we've gone through, both the pain and the joy, and make another revenue stream so that you can live a life of, a little more comfortable life, if you will.
And keep hit the nail on the head. More revenue.
The listings coming in, keep them coming in.
I love it. I love it. Shane, would you like to say anything else before we move on to Tim? I want to get some closing remarks from Tim. Wrap this up. We do have some Q&A. Is anything else to add to that, Shane?
I think that's it. Wendy mentioned the affiliate program that we have, and I just want to go to that slide. So this, anybody that's already, they've done BPO forever, they're veterans. This is just another income source that we're offering. So it's free to sign up. You sign up on our website, we send you your affiliate link, and you can get 10% on any purchases that come from that link. So
Oh,
that's available to anybody.
another income stream right there, right? Just adding value to continuously. Thank you guys so much. We'll add it to everybody that is in this on this call live. We'll have it in the remarks in our YouTube channel, and we'll have it in the remarks in our Spotify pod. Tim Yates, I'm going to go to you real quick. Anything else to share before we let go to Q&A?
I don't know if we're going to talk about the open house accelerator thing or not, because I got a kind of a cool little story behind that. But if not,
No,
this
yeah,
has been great.
let's do that now during our Q&A session. Go ahead, Tim. Tell us about the open house accelerator.
Yeah, so we've looked at it. We've talked to hundreds, thousands of brokers and agents throughout California, and we've often asked them, what are some of their challenges of doing open houses? And a lot of the challenges that we would hear oftentimes is it's just getting people to sign in. And or getting people to sign in with real information, like not fake, accounts and stuff like that. So we wanted to create a system that made it super easy for an agent that's hosting an open house to collect everyone's information that comes in and be able to get into unique, different conversations with people that are walking through the door, not just about real estate or the home itself. So we've created a program where we know right now 9 out of 10 people walking into that house don't have a living trust. Okay. So what we've created is a plan for that agent to offer everyone that comes through a chance to win a $2,500 estate plan simply by scanning the QR code. We have a QR code set up. Clients walk in, they scan it. Information is transcribed into the agent's phone, so they're capturing everyone's real information as they're coming through. But here's where it gets interesting and unique. So one agent was doing an open house designed for first-time home buyers, okay? So he knew everyone walking in was going to probably be more of a younger couple, even though the data now shows first-time home buyers now are 40 years old, which is a different conversation. But we know right now people are walking in. So this one young couple walks in, and they started asking about the QR code thing. And then the one guy turns to his wife and says, mom and dad don't have a trust right now. And they turn around and say, hey, look, if we actually win this raffle, could we actually gift the trust to my mom and dad who need one? And of course, the answer is going to be yes. The agent then, of course, that couple ends up winning the raffle. The agent connects them to his parents. The agent talks to the parents specifically about the estate plan. In that conversation, the parents mentioned, well, let me ask you, should we get the estate plan now or after? Because we're thinking about selling our home in a few months. Again, talk about teeing it up, right? Well, of course, just get right to the point. That agent actually got a chance to do a listing presentation. They were almost settled on an agent that they'd used before, but the agent said, hey, just let me give you an opportunity. Let me give you an opportunity to do a listing presentation for you. And if we end up working together, you're going to get the estate plan as my closing gift as well. And one thing led to another. He got the listing, got the sale. They got the estate plan, which was a client of ours. And it was a way to show how these conversations can go into a much deeper area where if you're at an open house, that would never come up. That conversation would never come up, and or the agent wouldn't have the ability to steer them into a system like ours that can provide that person with affordable, it doesn't get more affordable than free. And so it was a really great story that just came out of our Bay Area. So yeah,
I love
good stuff.
I feel like Santa Claus right now delivering all these gifts. So I thank you all for jumping on. Seth, Shane, Wendy, Tim, awesome. Now we have some Q&A. We do have some questions in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and fill those out. It looks like we've got a couple. Let's see. First question from Hector. As an REO agent, are they required to carry lots of cost for the properties? Yeah, you know what? Most REO agents will tell you yes, because they don't want you to succeed in REO. REO is a close to your vest business. The real truth to that, every listing I've had in the last 10 years, with the exception of maybe some utilities like gas and electric, But cash for keys, rehab, all the big stuff has all been paid by the seller, the asset manager. They've coordinated any of those kinds of things either with their folks or a direct contact that you've introduced your vendors to. So the holding cost, like before, we have $33,000 out just on termite reports at one time. So that it's not like that. It's the last 10 years that I'm seeing is that the sellers understand that, hey, it's not their house. I shouldn't be opening, lines of credit so I can do remodeling. It's different. So you don't need a ton of money. You do need some. You need money for training. You need money for the proper, and I want to make sure I'm highlighting that, the proper platforms, Equator, ResNet, Pyramid. There's a few that, yes, they'll have a paid subscription. I recommend those. But you're going to get a lot of opportunities to pay a bunch of money that is not going to be the right money spent. So always check in with me before you spend all your money. I think that if you do the training that Wendy and Seth have lined out, that'll start the foundation. That class is what builds the walls. So you can turn this into a profit center for your business, and you're aligning yourself for future business. So hopefully, Hector, I answered that question. So you do not need a lot of money. Utilities, sometimes clean outs, direct relationship with the vendor, rekeys with a locksmith, so on and so forth. You do want to reach out and I personally recommend the threes. Kind of Noah's Ark was twos. I'm going to go with threes. You need 3 contractors. You need 3 carpet guys, 3 electricians, 3 plumbers, 3 locksmiths, and any other vendor that you feel would be necessary to pay attention to a home that's in distress. The sellers aren't only in distress, so is the home oftentimes. They're not always in the best shape. So you need to have folks that can take action, do a board up, protect the home first, make sure everything's good. So you're going to need some folks. So now would be a great time to build your corral of 3 of each and start sharing that on social media. Share it with your database. Hey, if you need a painter, let me know. I got a guy. You know what I mean? So have that kind of mentality because it helps your current business. Just like BPO helps you become a better agent value-wise, about valuating properties, having the vendor contacts put you as the go-to real estate call. Anything related to real estate, not just the home or the loan, but anything that you would need to do to the home. Be that one phone call when people call. Because I can tell you this, I get calls all the time. Hey, Robert, who do you know that paints houses and does electrical and can give me a new roof? Why are you doing those repairs? Are you remodeling? How exciting. Oh, no, we're getting ready to sell. Really? Glad you called. Because people don't remember you're in real estate. They don't think about us. They don't think about you every day. Oh, my God, let me see, where can I get Robert some business? That's not how it works. We need triggers. We need them calling us first. So anyway, I'll get off my high horse. Let's go to the next question. We've got next question from, here it is. There are so many companies that are touting the REOP training and connections. I think they're scams. I think you're right. Now, REOP, I don't know them specifically, but I can tell you, ResNet, Equator, Pyramid, I think REO network is absolutely mandatory if you want to grow your business. Wendy and says training, step 1. Don't do anything before you go to their training. Step 1. Step 2, then sign up for the portals, then sign up for BPO companies following Wendy and Seth's tutelage, right? They're going to guide you through that process. And then go to conferences and then start looking at the money. But there are a lot of money grabs in our business in the REO space. So be careful. Like I said earlier, I would love to be a resource. If you think, hey, should I sign up? I get it. One of my agents, I have agents all over the country. They're calling me, hey, Robert, ever heard of this company? No, I have not. I'll do the research and go, yeah, don't like the reviews. Do some research before you spend the money. First things first, Wendy and Seth's platform, training, BPOs, RevStream, and then go to step 2. Hope I answered that question for you, Hector. Any other questions that we could answer for you? Oh, looks like this is the Hector show. We're going to answer a bunch of questions from Hector. Hector, let's see. Hector, do you just want to unmute yourself and ask these questions, sir?
Sure.
If not, Oh, there you are, Hector. Go ahead, buddy.
It just took me a second to unmute.
No, it's all good.
I had asked these questions because some in the industry are saying that maybe the default industry is not going to be like maybe in the 2008, maybe in the mid 90s, how big that was. So I was just trying to understand, if you do see an opportunity. I mean, obviously you've been in it for many years. Wendy and Seth train on it and are around it quite a bit. So I just want to understand, is there truly an opportunity in REO coming? And how much time should we devote to, creating opportunities in terms of BPOs and things of that nature, as opposed to regular business, being that it does take time, being
Yeah.
BPOs.
Well, those are all
time.
great questions. All great questions. Let me unpack that. Is REO coming? Yes. Here's what I think you should do, but you need to make that decision for yourself. You're in Los Angeles. Track and measure how many notice of defaults are being filed in your market, how many notice of trustee sales are being done in your market. You can go to My Plus Leads, because as a good realtor, we need to be reaching out to FSBO, expired, and pre-foreclosure to grow our current traditional business. And Carla will put that in the chat box. If you start seeing a lot of notice of defaults, like I mentioned earlier, 23% increase year over year in foreclosure filings, that tells me that there is some opportunities for the right agents coming down the road. In terms of spending time with it, I look at this. If what I'm doing to position myself for the next market helps my current market, then I go all in. I'm doing a lot of BPOs, but it's not just foreclosures. Foreclosures, sure. NODs, as soon as something's potentially going to get filed or has been filed, triggers a BPO. As soon as it goes to a different phase of the process, it triggers another BPO. Lots of BPO opportunities. You're training yourself to be an incredible listing agent and know how to value properties. That's why you position yourself doing BPOs, because when that market does come, you'll be poised, positioned, and ready to go. Most agents that are in the business currently active have never seen an REO. They've not experienced an REO market. So hopefully that answered your question. Be careful. Don't just waste money. And you're muted. Don't just waste time and pay for everything. You want to make sure it's value. Step one, Wendy and Seth's platform to learn how to do BPOs, then go to the platforms.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good info.
Oh, can I throw something in? Don't
Please
buy
do.
zip codes. Don't buy zip codes. When you join some platforms, and by the way, we join platforms when our relationships demand it. We don't join platforms like ResNet just to join and hope we get an asset. You create those relationships. I'll give you my best tip if you don't mind, Rob.
Please do.
Find us on LinkedIn. Look at our connections and connect with those people. Don't message them, just connect. That way you can, I don't call asset managers. They don't want to call me. They don't want me calling them. I connect with them on LinkedIn. I email them with my coverage area, introduce myself briefly, and that's how the relationships start. So
Excellent.
The LinkedIn thing is really important. Just find people who are already in it and connect with their people.
Amen. I love it. There's another question, Mike. What are the best BPO companies? I think, Wendy, your course, learn how to do them, and then you provide a list, or talk to me about that.
Yes, we tell you which ones not to go to, and we tell you which ones you can double and triple what they offer you for pay. And we get just down and dirty on what to avoid and who to work with.
I think you just hit the nail on the head, and I want to make sure we repeat this for the folks that maybe missed it. You provide them with who not to do BPOs for. That saves you a ton of time. Number one, it saves you time in signing up, buying zip codes, so you don't do that. She just saved you money. And then she's going to show you, don't sign up for this company because they're going to do an email campaign and they're going to sign up as many people and not provide any BPOs to you. So there's a lot of safeguards that she just put up. So thank you, Wendy, for that. That's great. Hopefully that answered your question, Mike. And if there's any other questions, now is the good time because we're getting ready to close it up. What I would like to say is I want to thank my bride Carla for working the chat box in between, inside there. Seth, Wendy, Shane, awesome. Tim Yates, always a pleasure. And I encourage you, if you're an agent and you're listening to this, and you found value today, I want you to register to meet with me. Let's do a one-on-one. Let's look under the hood of your real estate business going into 2026 and beyond. Let's take a look. Don't just survive in real estate. Let's thrive. BPOs are a great opportunity to get you more listings, and that's what it's all about. So book a 30-minute strategy session, hit the QR code. It goes right to my calendar link. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just here to provide opportunities for agents to have a place to come and really rock and roll. Let's just basically keep rocking and rolling every single Wednesday. The MORE Listings Mastermind, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Go to morenowlistings.com. This is Robert Weichelt for another episode of the MORE Listings Mastermind. I certainly want to thank our guests for jumping on. We appreciate you. Go to our YouTube channel and Spotify, and we'll see you all in escrow.